Once upon a time, there was a king who was getting old, yet had no child, which saddened him greatly. So, he decided to choose a boy from all over the country and adopt him, who would cultivate and be brought up to be the king's successor. The king's criterion for the son selection was one of a kind. He distributed some flower seeds to each child and proclaimed that he who could nurture the most beautiful flower from these seeds would become his adopted son. The children took back their seeds and started to take meticulous care of them from dawn to dusk, watering, fertilizing, and loosening the soil. Every one of them earnestly believed that he would be the lucky one. There was a boy named Johnny, who likewise carefully cultivated the flowered seeds all day long. But after 10 days, half a month, and 1 month, the seeds in the pot didn't even sprout, let alone bloom. Frustrated, Johnny went to his mother for help. She suggested changing the soil, but to no avail. They found themselves at their wits' end. The deadline did come when the king decided to review the outcome of the flower planting. A sea of beautifully dressed children poured onto the streets. Almost every one of them held a pot with flowers blooming in profusion, and stared expectantly at the king who was strolling among them. The king looked around at the flowers in a blaze of colors and children full of vigor and vitality, but he was not as cheerful as people had thought. Suddenly, the king saw Johnny, who seemed to be standing there in low spirits with an empty flower pot in his hands and tears in his eyes. The king summoned him and asked, "Why are you holding an empty flower pot?" Johnny sobbed and began to recount how he took care of the seeds wholeheartedly, but they didn't sprout at all. Unexpectedly, the king beamed and lifted the boy off the ground with his arms and exclaimed, "Son, you are the one I am looking for. Your honesty and bravery have shown me that you deserve to be the future king of our land." "Why was that?" people asked the king bewilderingly. The king said, "All the flower seeds I distributed had been boiled from the beginning, and therefore they could not possibly sprout and bloom." Children, the moral lesson in the story is, honesty and courage will serve everyone in life as important values for every boy and girl, even if they are not chosen to be a future king.